And confusion about how much longer long-term care staff and residents will be able to get the COVID-19 vaccine inside their facilities. This especially after so many workers in these facilities have rejected taking the vaccine during the first round of shots. Katie LeBrun explains.
Well, hello. Are you ready?
During this vaccine clinic at Grand Villa Assisted Living Facility last week,
You're set to go. You're welcome, Marilyn.
second dose shots were first priority when we stopped by. By day's end, the majority of these Sarasota residents fully vaccinated.
Okay, so you have to fill out one of these.
As for staff,
Not too many staff members, me included. I opt out to get the shot because back in June I had COVID.
LaToya Wright is a nurse here and among the estimated 70% of staff at this center who have said no to the COVID-19 vaccine.
It won't protect me from not ever getting it again. I just feel like I believe in God and He brought me through having COVID. He'll bring me through this.
Statewide, nearly 70% of the state's 200,000 long-term care staffers have rejected the vaccine.
The problem with staff not getting vaccinated is, of course, they're probably our largest source of bringing COVID into the communities.
Jennifer McConnell, Assistant Director of Quality Assurance, says it's a similar picture at all 18 Grand Villa Assisted Living Centers across Florida.
I thought that staff members would be standing in line asking for the vaccine when it became available. It is a little disappointing.
Now she has reason to fear the number of unvaccinated in her facilities is going to get worse.
There's an issue with how are we going to get those people vaccinated?
Since last month, long-term care centers have relied on federal or state-run vaccination clinics like this one to get residents and staff their shots quickly. But these clinics end this month, leaving anyone who didn't get a shot to join the masses struggling to get appointments on their own.
When we have new residents moving in, those residents can't get vaccinated out into the general public. Or new team members coming in, they can't. It's very difficult for people to get vaccinated out into the general public.
It's a concern the industry doesn't have a clear answer for. A spokesperson for the state's Nursing Home Association told us this is one of the many reasons we continue to do promotions in our facilities, working hard to encourage staff to get their shots.
It's just too unpredictable right now.
LaToya Wright remains in a wait and see.
I'm not saying that I won't, but I just won't get it now.
Beautiful. Look at me.
But it's the wait and see industry leaders are afraid of.
Wait, am I done? 15 minutes?
If staff don't get vaccinated, I really and truly don't think we'll ever get back to normal.
Katie LeBrun, Fox 4, in your corner.
Days after Katie contacted the state about concerns over the end to these vaccination clinics, a spokesperson from the Department of Health told us late this afternoon these long-term care vaccination clinics will not be ending to ensure the most vulnerable have access to the vaccine as quickly as possible.
Taking a look at news across the nation right now on Fox 4 News at 6. One person in custody after a shooting at a clinic in Minnesota. 5 people were hurt when gunfire erupted at this clinic in Buffalo. It's about 40 miles northwest of Minneapolis. Police say the suspect is, quote, very familiar to them and has a history of conflict with personnel at the clinic. A curious tot in Arizona put the pedal to the metal, of his parents' pickup truck, and he caused a wee bit of havoc. The child drove right down his street before losing control, crashing right into this home. That started a gas leak. It could have been bad. The person living inside the house has some minor injuries, very lucky there, but no one else was badly hurt. Bananas the name, rarity's the game. Look at this yellow lobster. You thought blues were rare. This is a 1 in 30 million specimen they caught off the coast of Maine. The universities of Maine and New England are splitting the grant money just to house and examine this 1.5 pounder. The yellow color comes from a pigment in the lobster shell. In our Living Legacy series, we're spotlighting people in our community who are actively working to carry on the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. here in Southwest Florida. And this evening, an exciting story. Fox 4 weekend anchor Shari Armstrong showing you how one man is working to help kids in our community develop a sense of confidence and independence.
You know that feeling when you're about to make a major change in your life and you can't help but wonder,
what are people going to think?
Ted Satong says that thought played over and over as he thought about scaling back from his job as an architect.
They're going to think I've lost my mind.
But he did it anyway. Nearly 10 years later, it's evolving into something new. It started with simple conversations on the basketball court.
When they started telling me the kinds of things that they needed,
and led to a newfound mission.
I was like, I think that I can help with some of this stuff.
Stuff like how to create a resume, how to get an apartment, how to buy a car. Ted says for most of the boys that he would talk to,
they want to do well in life. They're willing to put the work in. They just don't know how to start doing it.
It's the mindset of abundance. You know what I mean?
So he started Pick Up the Ball, a nonprofit that's, yes, for the love of the game, but it's also about helping boys figure out that stuff. They meet once a week, sometimes touring local companies, sometimes for casual conversation, where the boys choose the topics.
We talk about stress, we talk about our weaknesses, our strengths.
16-year-old Alexander Michelle started attending Pick Up the Ball just a few months ago.
It makes you want to think of things in a positive way.
Creating this space for local boys is partially rooted in Ted's upbringing back home in Maryland, where he says his father was dedicated to their family.
My dad is still a major factor in my life when it comes to trying to figure out my direction and what I need to do.
That's the kind of support Ted hopes to bring to Pick Up the Ball participants. Nearly 10 years after its inception, Pick Up the Ball's mission's expanding to transitional housing in Fort Myers.
The boarding house is a recognition of a problem that we've been seeing over time.
The problem varies, but includes boys 18 and older moving out after they graduate, only to realize
I can't afford it.
Or
maybe they're working, but all of their money goes to the household.
And in some cases.
And then we've also come across guys who have actually just become homeless.
So Ted's working to get in front of all of those problems, creating a 12-room boarding house.
To be independent and be successful at being independent.
Filled with classes and volunteers ready to support the participants. As he lays the groundwork for the next step forward for the organization, Ted says it's about giving the boys the support they need in order to
give them the boot and get them out there and get them doing it.
In Fort Myers, Shari Armstrong, Fox 4.
And if you are looking for work these days, want to support some young people who are looking for work, you can reach out to the YMCA and Enrich a Child's Life. The South Collier branch is looking to hire various positions. You'll work under the Youth Development Manager there. More details available when you go to fox4now.com. And if you're a small business that's hiring, please email us your listings. The email's right there on your screen. Boeing's still trying to recover from the pandemic stoppages and safety recalls. The lift it's getting tonight in